The following podcast contains strong language and ridiculous cartoon scenarios conjured up by two self-proclaimed comedy wizards. Between you and me, they're more like Saturday morning court jesters fueled by sugary cereal. But either way, the opinions expressed and presented are mere musings, so please humor their well-intentioned hijinks with a laugh and not by taking anything they say seriously. Unless, of course, you want to pay them to say something else. Could always use a new pair of shoes.
Ho, 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 and welcome to reviewparty.com. I'm Brent.
I'm Matt.
And we have a very special guest. Show yourself.
I am Chris.
This is Chris. It's
am
Christmas around here.
You just heard before this.
The voice of Review Party, don't sue us himself. We needed a little extra don't sue us energy around the holidays. So we brought Chris in to have some review party fun for us. Chris, what's your favorite part of Christmas?
Ooh, aside from the first 5 letters celebrating me, which is an easy answer. I'm a big gift giver. Like, sure. I enjoy finding a good gift for people to the extent that throughout the year, if I'm like browsing on Amazon or an Etsy or whatever, and I see something and think, oh, that'd be a good gift for somebody, I'll add it to a specific like wish list in the app.
That's very organized.
Well, you think that, and then this time of year comes around and I look through it and think, what the hell was I thinking? Who would want this? My best find this year was a 3D printed, it was Kirby, but he had a realistic face and realistic feet. Awful.
I mean, that's a great white elephant, especially if it has some heft. Mm-hmm. Especially if that's a real deal paperweight.
Could see that cast from marble.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would want. Like a real heavy duty Kirby man. Speaking of heavy duty, I'll do the honors and get started this year.
I'm going to do the honors and say, is this your first time listening to this show?
Oh, geez. I forgot about all that. Well, with the excitement of the excitement, new person.
I know. It just took hold of us and we were off to the races. This is a comedy podcast where we feature internet reviews that are comedic or are just weird, and we bring the comedy to them. You'll figure it out right after Brent talks about something.
Yeah. We get reviews from the internet. We read them. Then hopefully we're funny for about 5 minutes after, and then we might be reading another one. And this time it's Christmas, though. I think we did a good job. I got A+ for effort on the Christmas reference situation here. So, Chris, I don't know if you've been listening much recently, but me and Matt have a new favorite genre of review.
Oh no!
And that is the shifter romance novel genre.
I like the sound of this.
Yeah, a shifter for you and the audience who may not be familiar is it's a werewolf. I think is the most common shifter, but really they can be anything. They can turn into dragons. There's raccoon shifters, I'm sure.
Bears are very popular.
Bears are quite popular.
So just to repeat this back to make sure I'm interpreting it, what we're talking about is sexy Animorphs.
Sexy Animorphs. Okay, exactly. Okay. This one is a YA that I'm bringing this week. So
they touch and pet and kiss.
Right. There's implied heavy petting at the most.
Okay.
And this one is called it's from Amazon. The book is First Christmas, a Christmas collection, book 1, Kindle edition by Heather Karn. As a tradition with these books, I will send the picture of the cover, and Matt or Chris just describe that for the audience.
Chris, by all means, go ahead.
Oh yeah, here we've got a in the foreground we have in a classic Hallmark movie font, First Christmas by Heather Karn, and then in the background we have what appears to be a Christmas tree going nuclear with exclusively red lights, presumably klaxons blaring into the winter night. In front of that, we have a very sly-looking blue dragon with big, magnificent wings. And then really bringing it down right in the dead center of the screen is a redheaded woman, poorly dressed for the weather. Very clearly snow falling. She appears to be knee deep in snow. No sign of snow pants or.
Those could be capris.
Right, it could. For all we know, they're just like slightly longer than normal shorts.
I do want to point out there is just that one gigantic snowflake about the size of her head. Maybe it's just very close to camera. It's hovering above the sea, but yeah, if that's the kind of snow she's experiencing, she's not prepared for it.
That's a good point. Whoever drew that snowflake really went like above and beyond compared to, whoever was doing the rest of these.
Or maybe they drew one and then they thought that's a lot of work. I'm going to make the rest of them blurry and obscure.
The snowflakes, we can afford one snowflake from the good snowflake guy. Then we will have the budget snowflake guy do the rest.
This is like, have you guys ever seen the people will post pictures from DeviantArt where like most of the picture is just like okay, but then like the cleavage will be photorealistic. It's the same phenomenon.
But with her scarf. But let's let Liz tell us a little bit more about this wonderful Christmas story. She titles her review Fresh Shifter Story. She writes, I didn't know what to expect when I started this book, but to love it and want the next 3 in the series wasn't really one of them. Heather has such a way in describing things that it makes you feel like you're right in the story with the characters. My favorite part of this was the snowball fight. So funny.
Oh.
But there's also plenty of romance and things that touch the heart in this as well, along with new ideas I've never read about before in the book world. It was refreshing, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next books. With all of these unique characters, you can't help but love. 5 stars.
There's a lot there, but the one thing that is setting me off is the book world.
The realm of books.
Some new ideas in there.
The book society, the people who legislate over all books on all topics, got together and authorized the release of some new ideas.
There's some prototype. Hey, we got some of these new ideas here, and we would like you to flagship them in your dragon book you got going on there. If that's what do you think about these ideas? And Heather was there for it.
I mean, to be fair, there is another influential book. Most people are familiar with it, which details the tale of the first Christmas. So are we to assume that Heather Karn's first Christmas is of equal impact on society?
You think this is changing the Christmas game, the pages of this book here?
I mean,
the
look,
Third Testament.
Yeah, you give me, infant in a manger. I'm not even sure what a manger is, but you give me, dragon. I think there's some conversation to be had.
A snow dragon, ice elemental dragon for Christmas? Who wants to go down to the hardware store and pick up a lame metal star to put on the top of your tree when you could put like a dragon skull? If that's what's going on here, I'm in.
I think there's something to it.
It would explain the natural phenomena of coldness, at least for those of us living in these cold parts during Christmas time.
Yeah, let's just go back to enough of this science stuff explaining the weather. Let's just blame mythical creatures again for different natural phenomena.
I don't understand it, but it was probably some creature hiding in a cave.
If I put a skull on this tree, I'll ward away the cold. Make plenty of room for presents.
Look what we did to the last ice dragon, bud. Yeah.
That's why this young ginger woman on the front of this book looks so serious and stern.
Yeah, she knows that purple pleather jacket's going to keep her safe from any ray of frost spells that come her way.
Because in fact, those are her dragon scales, just sort of transmogrified into like a Gap jacket. And some really bad eye makeup. I zoomed in here and I don't know what's going on. It looks like she accidentally got some of her eye makeup in her pupils and her irises. Just sort of painted the whole thing.
I'm kind of confused because without viewing in on her, parts of her appear to be photograph and other parts appear to be illustrated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that holds up on closer inspection.
They sort of, in a modern way, they made a girl out of magazine clippings, but being the modern age, some of the clippings were AI art, some of them were real art, some were just Amazon store ad jackets. I'm just looking at
It's like a reverse ransom letter. Instead of writing a letter, they created the image of a fictitious kidnapped person.
Can you imagine if we kidnapped a girl like this?
Like,
you would give us some money, huh?
Like
the ransom, huh?
Anyway, buy this dragon book. But I think that's enough tomfoolery into that non-serious Christmas area. Do either of you have a review takes Christmas a little more seriously, or that doesn't? And do you have a review?
I got one that there's definitely a serious air about it.
Okay, good.
This is a Google review for an A&W restaurant in Pocatello, Idaho. Longtime listeners might remember this Pocatello, Idaho A&W restaurant as the one our strange friend, Hey Erica Sunshine G, once went to. And if you remember her, she's the one who's a funky ghost battler
Who likes A&W?
Who likes A&W and not wearing shoes. Anyway, this Google reviewer, it's me, not me. It's just their username is it's me. It's me writes, I just want to point out that Andy says this is a family business, but how when he lays off a hardworking family man of 5 right before Christmas, maybe I emphasized that wrong, but how when he lays off a hardworking family man of 5 right before Christmas. Don't get me wrong, Andy's mom and stepdad, Kathy and Chet, are great people to work for at the Willie's pit stop. But anyone with kids shouldn't work for Andy at A&W. He doesn't care what time of year or anything when he lays people off. He has inmates working there and teenagers, but lays off, and then there's just a 0, and it ends 1 star.
I love how teenagers and inmates are sort of on the same tier of heinousness there.
Basically, probably about the same level of good work, right?
Yeah, the same laissez-faire attitude when putting buns on top of your meat.
I have no doubt when I was a teenager, they could have hired harder working inmates than I was.
Yeah, because the inmates generally want the chance to do something. They want employment. As a teenager, you're like,
right. Yeah, think about it. You want to stamp license plates, or you want to stamp those golden arches on some bad buns?
You want to pour some A+ root beer? Is that what you want?
As a teenager, I think stamping the license plates is probably cooler.
Right. It's funny how it's perspective. The grass is always greener, isn't it?
Yeah, man, I'm working in a foundry. Dude, what? Molten metal all the time.
Oh, we should totally switch places. That would be a great Freaky Friday. A burger flipping A&W teenager.
Goes and visits his inmate father or something.
And the kid's like, this prison stuff sounds pretty cool. And he's like, man, I'd do anything to sneak a couple French fries from the old basket every now and then. To go hide in the freezer and eat handfuls of Reese's Pieces candy crumble that's supposed to be for the ice cream.
Oh, you're talking.
Right. That's an inmate's dream. A teenager takes that for granted.
What is the A&W like? I know root beer is their big thing. Do they have is it just burgers? Do they have a unique Arby's-esque sandwich situation going on?
They have a pop-up burger, which is just sort of a Big Mac without the middle, with the slightly bigger patties.
Okay.
That's right. Brent knows A&W like the back of his hand.
Unfortunately, yeah. I spent a few years with the ball and chain around my ankle, frothing the root beer up with giant oars.
They got root beer, classic burgers, chicken, hot dogs.
Bacon doubles are pretty big there. Cheese curds.
A little bit of everything.
A Midwestern burger joint affair, I would say.
Glass mugs. That's the frosty glass mugs.
Right.
Yeah, besides root beer, the most popular thing is the frosty mugs that they give you with.
which carry the root beer. And then it is the root beer float, which is those two things just plus vanilla ice cream.
Yeah. And I think what people like the most about those frosty beverages we keep in a freezer is how stealable they are. No doubt about it. It's just very easy to walk out with. That's people love that kind of stuff, especially around Christmas. If you're laid off before Christmas, need some Christmas presents for the family, maybe A&W is a good place to stop.
Everybody get the mug.
And the owner is just Andy. Andy's a jerk.
Andy's a jerk. He may, grabbing a couple 2-3 mugs from a jerk doesn't feel too bad.
I imagine you guys have had this conversation many a times before, but Google Maps reviews, good place to air employment grievances, in your opinions?
It's a little uncouth, I think we would say.
Kind of a roundabout way to get some retribution for your the injustice against you, if you ask me.
Facebook is for, right?
Right? Yeah. Whole social media platforms set up for this.
It's unique, though. You're getting your point across with that 1 star.
Yeah, I mean, how emotionally, I don't say retributed. How much retribution emotionally did this man get from posting this 1-star review? Because that's a serious injustice. I think he's, as aggressive as he's being, he's right to feel like he, shouldn't have been laid off right before Christmas. That's sort of,
that's
not very nice. But it's the avenue in which but I mean, if he got a little peace of mind from it, do you think he was better off emotionally after this review, more Zen-like or less Zen-like?
Right,
I just pulled up this person's profile on Google, quote profile. They've only ever reviewed one thing other than this. This was their first review, and then they just gave a 5 stars, no text, to an area dentist. So it seems like, they just, I got to put this out there. I'm going to name myself It's Me. He's going to know it's me.
It's me. I ain't talking about Mario over here. Do I look like Chris Pratt to you?
Sort of thinking this is sort of like a therapeutic shit posting kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't get to quit the way I wanted to. So this is the best I got.
This is
Or is it he got fired, went home and was like, son of a bitch, there's all this stuff I could have said. And rather than a sane person just going, oh, well, was like, all right.
I think that's absolutely right. The French call that the spirit of the stairway.
Yes.
Where someone disses you at a party, and as you're walking out the stairs in shame, that's when it hits you, the perfect comeback. But it's fleeting like a ghost. You can't go back. But this guy, he got that. Oh, I got some zingers for old Andrew over here. And he went straight to old Google Maps. So he punched this bitch in.
Fortunately, the Larry Pages and the Mark Zuckerbergses of the world have empowered us to act on that spirit of the staircase.
Craigslist too, whatever guy, Craig, I guess.
Craig, he's hanging out with Tom from MySpace somewhere, just laughing up a storm.
I follow Tom from MySpace on Instagram. Dude is living his best life. Dude redesigns his house on a whim like every other like season. Yeah, I actually am getting kind of into Art Deco, so I think I'm just gonna reset this whole $3 million living room.
It's the way to do it, man. How many times has he had to sit in front of Congress and get grilled in the last decade?
I bet he loves that, dude. If I was Tom, that shit would be like pornography to me. Just the best. I think that's enough about Andy at A&W.
Let me hit you guys with a little bit more upbeat of a local food review.
Okay.
Oh,
I know you guys are well familiar with Yelp elite status.
of course.
And this review comes from David R., elite of 2022. And this is the kind of review that gets you elite status, in my opinion.
Ooh.
This is for Fry the Coop, a fried chicken joint in the Chicagoland area. And this is David R.'s 5-star review for Fry the Coop. Hot dang, they make a fantastic fried chicken sandwich. I don't recall how this place crossed my radar, but it was fortuitous that I happened to look upon them the day before I happened to have semi-annual business in Elmhurst. So the lunch gods seemed to ordain this visit, which answered my most fervent poultry prayers.
Oh,
We're just getting started.
oh, I'm just going to be making noises.
Sauce, coleslaw, pickles, bun, colon. What beautiful harmonies they make. Personally, I would quibble a tiny bit that more pickles and less slaw would balance this sandwich perfectly. Either way, I'm not a connoisseur of this particular subgenre of chicken, but it's probably the best I've ever had. The chicken itself is flawless and would satisfy very well outside of the bun. Your hands will end up a glorious mess, but it's worth it. Oh, and by the way, the French fries are outstanding as well. They know how to salt a pile of fries, thank goodness, because it seems to be a dying art. It is rare to find a French fry that cannot be improved by being dipped in something. But with a sublime crisp and plenty of salt, these beauties are perfect all on their own. Thanks, David R.
I'm guessing that was a 5-star banger.
Oh, yeah, 5-star banger for sure.
Nice.
I think he tried to go past 5 stars, but
He tried to spiritually go sort of to another plane beyond 5 stars.
Honestly, he brought me there.
I'm there. I'm there right now. Messy hands, the full belly.
right?
I got the fucking sauce all over my lips like a little cartoon character.
I know you've got Malcolm Gladwell out there talking about the 10,000 hour rule. I did not notice this at the time of screenshotting, but David R., he has a total of 2,109 reviews to his name.
Wow.
I think that's how you get those writing chops, right? To paint that picture.
10,000 hours in both writing reviews and eating chicken.
And
a man
fries.
of many skills.
The
fry.
fries.
You know, when he started on about the fries, I was like, okay, buddy, we get it. You talk smart. You know, it's sort of crossing that line. But then he brought me right back. I was like, you know what? That is a dying art. Motherfuckers don't be salting fries right these days. He had me.
When he said pile of fries, that's when I knew. However the sentence ends, it's right.
Yeah, I was just that whole fry bit. He was just leading me along. That was all a part of his plan for me to be against him and then hug me back in, even more deeply ingrained in the fry culture philosophy that he's put in forward.
I was a big fan too of the discussion of the subgenre of chicken. I want to see the Pandora radio genre visualization of chicken.
Let me ask you guys this. Are you breast, thigh, or leg? Or wing, I guess, can also be a contender.
No beak. Beak's not on the table.
Beak's not in there. We're going to leave gizzard out. I had chicken butthole in Japan.
Oh.
Kind of bussing. It wasn't that bad, so...
I'm a thigh man myself.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It's got the juice.
It is juicier, yeah,
Mhm.
typically, than the breast. The breast, you get a big piece of meat, but it can dry out.
You do. It is exciting when you order a plate of chicken and you get the Pamela Anderson chicken breast sitting there in front of
Massive
you.
thing, yeah. Yeah.
Ungodly. What is this chicken 80% breast? What is going on here?
Just dragging chest first, walking around.
Does
I
Liz
will.
know about this?
If I may, have you ever had airline chicken? They call it.
I don't know what I've had.
Or I suppose if you go to medieval times or a place like that, that's what they're serving there.
Okay.
Airline. I'm making sure I get this right. Yeah, it just means like chicken sort of cut in half. So you're getting. It's got the leg on there. Like it has a wing. You're getting almost half the bird. Just
Oh, you just get the
bisected.
clean cut half, and they
Oh.
probably grill them up just like that.
Yeah. So you get everything. That's
So you're saying, forget
everything.
picking one. I want the whole half of the bird or
Yeah,
nothing.
please.
I'm
No.
always frustrated by that serving style because, like, you guys know I'm a cook. I know how to, I can fabricate a raw chicken, but every time I get one of those half chickens, I can't help but eat it like a barbarian who has no idea that, this is an actual bird or, there's bones in it or anything.
It just appears a pile of conquerable meat before you.
It's the same headspace you get when you're at, a carnival and you get a turkey leg. And there's just a Viking switch that goes off in the back of your brain.
Viking switch is like a wicked. That sounds like a 2000s. I don't want to say John Stamos. Who's the bald action guy?
Jason Statham.
Jason Statham. Forget that. I'm gonna flip the script. I'm gonna defy expectations. John Stamos is my Viking switch, dude.
I'm on board. I'd watch John Stamos as a suave Viking.
Right, John Stamos with some long Viking metal hair with the braid in it, like a cool but subtle Viking beard. I think it would work.
Yeah, I know it would work. He's a little tan to be a Viking, but I will suspend my disbelief miles above the earth for that.
Who else could be in his crew? I'm picturing a Mario Lopez.
Uncle Joey.
Just the whole cast of Full House is in that boat, including all the daughters. They're just gearing up with battle axes.
I do like the Mario Lopez. That's another you Saved by the Bell. We're sort of drawing from the same pool of early mid-90s television actors.
Screech could be the bad guy.
Well, not anymore, but
is that 80s? Is Screeching through the 80s?
I think he's dead.
Yeah.
Is my point.
Well, I purposely didn't mention Bob Saget because I was like, that one's too fresh. And boy,
no, Screech.
I stumbled right into another dead actor hole, didn't I?
I'm pretty sure he tried to stab someone in a Wisconsin bar, or maybe he got stabbed.
There were some dark times for him, for sure.
There was Wisconsin bars. There was knives. I mean, sounds perfect for Viking Switch if we could catch him before that.
Yeah.
Sounds like the kind of stuff. Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. We're going to take a little break, right this ship, and we'll be back shortly. Ho, ho, ho.
Hey everybody, thank you for listening to our lovely little podcast. If you'd like to go above and beyond in supporting our show, or have the most fabulous conversation starter since sliced bread, go to reviewparty.com. Click on shop and explore some fabulous t-shirt designs.
Where's your favorite place to wear a t-shirt?
On my body.
Mine is at the store.
That is a good place to wear a t-shirt. Reviewparty.com. Click shop.
Why stop there?
Don't stop now.
Don't stop me now, because I'm buying a t-shirt. I'm buying a shirt.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second half of the episode, and welcome to I guess just maybe a 1 or a 2 offer here. This is I've got from lithub.com the most scathing book reviews of 2022.
Oh, that's this year.
That's this year. It's sort of a year-end thing. Not so much Christmas, but sort of year-end
Hey,
thing.
this is the holiday episodes. New Year's, debatably holiday.
Mm-hmm. So they give like not full. They give excerpts, and there's a lot of ... in what they've got here. There's some bolding as well. I'm just gonna choose some bits and pieces, so we can get through this and get back to everyone well, this will be fun for all of us, but whatever. The first book up is Jared Kushner, Breaking History. And this is Dwight Gardner from the New York Times. This book is like a tour of a once majestic 18th century wooden house, now burned to its foundations, that focuses solely on and rejoices in what's left amid the ashes. ... Reading this book reminded me of watching a cat lick a dog's eye goo. The tone is college admissions essay. Kushner poignantly, repeatedly beats his own drum. A therapist might call these cries for help. The bulk of Breaking History, at nearly 500 pages, it's a slog, goes deeply into the weeds. What a queasy-making book to have in your hands.
Queasy making. No merry making this season. We have queasy making.
No.
Piss off a New York Times writer. Jeez, they can fling some serious fire.
Well, I mean, there's New York Times, and then there's New York Times,
Hey,
baby. You know what I'm
I review the
saying?
books, know what I mean? I'll just read like a line from the review of The Philosophy of Modern Song by Bob Dylan. This comes to us from Jody Rosen of the LA Times. Okay, I'll read two sentences. You have to plow through 46 chapters before encountering a song by a female artist. Yet women loom large in his consciousness and are omnipresent in his pages, appearing in such monstrous form, evoked in language so marinated in misogyny that, reading The Philosophy of Modern Song, I began to feel like a therapist, sneaking glances at my watch while the crackpot on the couch blitzed one creepy fantasy after another. Let me scroll down where we get to the meat. There's one from Leadership by Henry Kissinger, who's apparently still alive. This comes to us from Steve Donahue, Open Letters Review. Again, I'll just choose a wonderful sentence. Henry Kissinger might not be able to climb a flight of stairs anymore, but he's still capable of telling a lie before he's even finished his table of contents. I don't know enough Kissinger history to have any impact on the rest of this. Now then, we're getting to my favorites.
Oh, that's just a little appetizer.
Appetizer. This is from a book called Ghost Lover by Lisa Taddeo, and the review of Johanna Thomas Core from the Sunday Times. Viral success has emboldened Taddeo to abandon everything patient and methodical in her investigation of women's darker appetites in favor of the literary equivalent of chasing clicks. Ghost Lover is a 9-course tasting menu that is all spice and no flavor. The main dish is always the same facile serving of female jealousy. In every effortfully flippant tale, self-conscious women compete to be the most desirable female in the room. At least the proper nouns denote actual things. When Taddeo attempts metaphor, we run into more serious trouble. Throughout, Taddeo rams words together in unexpected ways. Quote, his voice turned throaty, filled with wetness and trees. Trees?
I would love to be the Sean Evans of the Hot Ones Women's Jealousy Challenge. 9 stages of female jealousy that you have to endure while answering interview questions for you two.
Well, I mean, Hot Ones, that's how you get a tree in your throat, right?
That is so insane.
Start getting a little branchy back
I
there.
kind of know what you mean. You ever try and swallow something that feels like it's trying to push past an evergreen tree that's growing in your throat?
Because you swallowed like a watermelon seed, right?
Yeah, it's all...
Yeah. As a child, it's finally blooming.
one of those slow burst watermelon seed situations.
I'll just choose a few more sentences from this one. Perhaps Taddeo has read Lolita and feels excited about experimenting with the English language. Only it feels more as if she had done the experimenting in another tongue, Finnish or Swahili perhaps, then run a series of untranslatable local sayings through Google Translate. I mean,
I kind of feel that.
Wetness and trees. That sounds like it's an untranslatable phrase that we just can't understand in English.
In German, they say the tree of the throat. When you have a bit of a, instead of a frog in your throat, it's just sort of a, weird translation.
All right, finally, I think I'm going to read every word of this that's printed on this page. This is Ryan Ruby's review of Ian McEwan's Lessons from the New Left Review. Everything in Lessons, whose story concludes within a year and a half of its publication date, gives the impression of having been written in extreme haste. Its prose, for example, is pocked with first-order cliches, second-order cliches, dull metaphors, mixed metaphors, limp similes, oxymorons, pleonasms, catachresis, jejune diction, trivializing double entendres, pomposities, flagrant abuse of self-reflexive questions, and barely concealed cribbings from more talented stylists like Nabokov. Within the first 50 or so pages, Roland experiences no fewer than 3 portentous epiphanies, none of which turn out to have any bearing on the subsequent 400, as though they were narrative coupons McEwan cut out but forgot to cash in.
Oh, bro.
Just wait. McEwan's novel is not so much an epic as it is 3 novellas in a trench coat. If this all sounds pat, it has less to do with the necessary evil that is plot summary in book reviewing than to the didacticism with which McEwan imparts these and other precipita in the novel itself. Yet perhaps worse than the way the book comes pre-interpreted for the reader is the way it comes pre-criticized. The trench coat is history. Draped loosely from the backs of these 3 narratives are hundreds of named political and cultural events, persons, and phenomena, starting with Dunkirk and ending with the storming of the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, which range from the genuinely consequential to the merely newsworthy to the unmentionably trivial. And that's...
What was the reviewer? This was Ryan something? Is that right?
Ryan Ruby.
Ryan Ruby. Rest in peace, Ryan Ruby's thesaurus, which no doubt lit on fire while he was writing this article.
Seriously.
That was just one of the many fires that was lit in the chaos of wordplay that man was using to just totally beat. It felt like a rival into submission. This felt like when Mike Tyson wanted to beat the shit out of Joe Frazier's son and just like ate him alive in like 13 seconds.
This guy this is like the OK Corral of shit slinging.
It was like the Evo Moment 37 of novel criticism.
It was like the exact opposite of the Spirit of the Stairs.
He knew exactly what he had to say.
All the spirits that ever went missing flooded Ryan Ruby's mind and fingers, and he
broke his writer's block. He just went and sat in the stairwell, and it just let it flow.
He's just like Thanos getting all the power from the gemstones. Like,
all right. Well, Hemingway said, "Write drunk, edit sober." I think this guy is, right in the stairwell, edit at your desk.
Sure. Where the spirits can't get you. The vicious Humlet of all the vicious attacks on this person's writing skill and character, the one that stuck out to me the most was calling this poor man's similes limp. I think if I wrote something and someone called my similes limp, I would I would start to tear up a little bit. I'd be like, you mean that? You really mean that,
Yeah,
man?
it's one thing to mix a metaphor. That happens, but if your similes are limp, man, oh boy.
It's shockingly, I don't remember English class ever being as evocative as limp similes.
Limp simile, it's funny because that's sort of a really strong simile, isn't it?
It is.
It itself is the opposite of a limp simile. That's wow.
That's like the opposite of an oxymoron. It is what it is.
It's just a moron.
It's just a moron.
Well, thanks for gathering those awesome scathing reviews.
Thanks, Lit Hub.
Thanks. That was lit, Hub.
Can I throw you guys a quickie?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask. Chris said he had something special.
So I've got one more after this, but this was well, let me first describe what this is in a review for, and then we can get into the review. So this is a graphic novel, a collection of comics called Deceased. It is a story from the DC Comics imprint featuring the Supermans and the Batmans and the Wonder Womans of that universe, in which the Earth is beset by a zombie virus, and so our beloved superheroes, are involved in a large zombie epic. So just to orient a little bit, that's kind of where we're coming from, right? This is Terry's review. It is titled DC Comic. The D is capitalized, nothing else is.
Okay.
And the review is, was disappointed the book had no slipcover. 3 stars.
Whoa.
I've never seen a comic book with a slipcover, I think, ever in my life.
How am I supposed to judge a book by its cover? It's the cover is not even presenting to me,
right?
Like in the way I prefer.
But to be fair, I bring this up because Terry was, I feel, much more fair than user RH, who on a completely unrelated on IMDb reviewing the movie Jack Frost, featuring the snowman serial killer.
Oh boy.
Left the review titled 1 star. And the review's contents are no lenticular slipcover.
Yes, I knew that was going to be it when you said that. I have to.
I didn't know this was such a plague.
Honestly, with the Jack Frost, I completely sympathize. That's like getting a pack of Pokemon cards with no shiny in there. No hollow card.
That does put it in perspective for me.
If I have...
What are you supposed to sniff in the corner while no one's looking? You don't got that shiny.
I cast my mind back to those halcyon days walking around the video gold mine. That's right. I didn't go to Blockbuster. I went to Video Gold Mine.
Video, not even Family Video. Video.
No,
video. You had an entire gold mine of videos.
It was right next to the Piggly Wiggly. It was Video Gold Mine. And Gloria worked there. And I hope she's doing well if she's still alive. But I remember walking past the VHS of Jack Frost and seeing him turn from a happy snowman into a vicious ice-fanged killer. So, yeah, if you don't get that VHS with that cover, well, that was a review on IMDb, though. You're not buying the movie from IMDb.
That was also highly questionable. Let me go back to the source here really quick. I think, nope, I take it back. RH's review was in 2017, which brings a whole other question about why you're buying physical media 5 years ago. But
you couldn't see the turn coming. I think it was already happening. I think we're already in the accelerate out of turn state of the turn.
I was delighted to see when looking at reviews for this movie that came out in 1997, I think. There are IMDb reviews from like before the new millennium, before we had like established protocol for how to do online reviews. That's
right.
It's a fun road to go down.
No, it's really fun. If you're watching an old show that came out like in the 90s, X-Files is a great example. You can find old X-Files forums, and for like the first few years of those archives, Everyone is so kind to each other. It's like it's sort of like a college discussion board where everyone has to reply to each other's ideas, except everyone actually wanted to be there.
Right.
And
Yeah.
at some point, there's just like a sharp turn to modern trolling and hatred.
As soon as it wasn't just like 30-year-old guys exclusively on the computer. Like we
Right.
made enough money to have a computer. As soon as children or little dickheads got on the computer, everything went south.
When it wasn't just Tim Berners-Lee and his other like Nobel Prize winning friends talking about X-Files.
How we can make this good for everybody.
Yeah, I'm picturing like The Simpsons, just a room full of The Simpsons Professor Frank types discussing the finest nerd art and media in what was like a 10-month utopia online.
And then just like peering in through the little like glass window in the door, you just see GeoCities. I'm coming.
Sparkly gifs and
It's all going downhill
and
from
swear
here.
words.
Similar to that phenomena is if you find old CD reviews from like 2099, people will go track by track and give their review of each track, and it is so heartwarming and confusing.
That's
at
a
the same
classic to me. I'm like, this is a real review. What the fuck? Speaking of real reviews, I have a quick one as well. Now, we're saying this is the holiday special, even though we say Christmas all the time. So I had to legitimize that with one from my a themed review from my Jewish brothers and sisters in the audience. I got a review from Amazon for the Jewish Hanukkah menorah gift. This is how we Jew it t-shirt. It's a t-shirt with a menorah on it. The Star of David is also prominently featured, and it says, "This is how we Jew it."
I love that.
So does Chef Alien Sparkle. They title their review, "Husband Love This." She writes, "Every year I get my husband a new Hanukkah shirt. What with Montel Jordan being back on TV lately in Geico commercials, this shirt was a huge hit. Quality item that was shipped fast and fit well. 5 stars."
Oh my! Talking about internet time capsules. When was this review left?
February 5th, 2022.
What? What is?
I gotta watch more TV. I don't
Yeah,
remember.
where's the Montel commercial?
I just feel really bad for Jewish people that the sort of like cultural comeback, that the sort of cultural surge that they're having from Montel Jordan, not a Jewish man, being on TV. It is it is thanks to him that this wonderful Hanukkah shirt can be relevant.
I think it would probably be relevant even if he weren't on. It's a song people know. This is how we do it. People know that song.
That people are really up and up on how do and Jew rhyme. They're kind of,
And I feel like that phrase has sort of elevated itself into the cultural zeitgeist. People just say that.
Yeah. The other day I was just walking down the street. I made eye contact with a man, sort of accidentally, as you do with a stranger walking down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at me and he said, "Hey, what's up?" And I said, "Oh, not much." And he said, "This is how we do it." And we high-fived. People are just saying it. People are just out there saying it these days.
No, I following COVID, I now work from home, but I used to, when I would ride the train into work, I would just kind of lean over to the person sitting next to me and whisper in their ear, "This is how we do it."
And I imagine you were met with a grin from ear to ear.
Oh yeah, just big beaming smiles. The whole train car, we'd all have a nice big laugh together. Yeah.
Wow, you guys with your like human interactions. I don't have any of that, but
human interactions.
Yeah, I take a shower, and when I get out, the mirror is all steamed up, except for the words scrawled in the condensation. This is how we do it. I don't know how it got there.
Even the spirits, they're making their way out of the stairwell to write funny phrases. And what do they pick? Of course, this is how we do it.
The weirdest part is that discordant piano sting, that horror sting, right when you see it written in the mirror. Where's it even coming from?
Yeah, wow, these old pipes.
plays on organs somewhere distant but so close.
As if it were in my own head.
Dracula's wearing hammer pants, hammering some notes out on his organ.
Oh, you got one?
I've got a little review game for you guys. All right.
Okay. Yeah, let's.
I've got 3 reviews I'm going to read for you.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm going to see if you guys can guess what this is a review for. But I'm not
We're shaking the review present, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm not going to send you in blind, though. I'll give you a couple hints. First and foremost, you guys both definitely know what this is.
Okay.
I'll also let you know it does have some relevance to a non-Christmas holiday. All right. And it is it's very consequential to the American identity. All right.
Well,
so that's where we're coming from. I've got 3 reviews for you guys. Review number 1 from Zachary Oram. Anyone who reads this, beware of this place. Run down, bed bugs, mice, awful breakfast, unsanitary pool. That's all one sentence with no punctuation. I think I read it correctly. Do not go here. The price is cheap and for good reason. 1 star. That was 5 months ago. All right. That's review number 1. Then we've got oh no, I lost my review number 2 from Waleed Portnoy. My fries were cold. 1 star. Again, no punctuation. I've interpreted this through my own voice. And as Waleed told us, 1 star. This was 9 months ago. And finally, this is probably your best hint from any review. This is from Larry Thompson. Not very friendly to people from the South. 2 stars. That was filed 4 years ago.
Not very friendly to people from the South. Bed bugs and bad fries.
To a holiday. Right?
Oh.
Consequential to the United States.
Is this the apple holler?
Ooh, I like where your mind's at. You're not close, but I like where your mind's at.
Matt, you gotta save me.
Okay. Let me do some.
I'm drowning over here.
Let me recap. It's related to a holiday that is not Christmas.
Yes.
And it is consequential to the United States. And it's something that we know. There are bed bugs. It's a cheap place to stay. It has fries. Is it just a Holiday Inn?
No, this is, of course, relating back to, I believe it was July 3rd, 1863, Gettysburg National Military Park. I highly recommend checking out some of the low-end reviews because I think people are drunk. I don't know what they're reviewing. Or, to be fair, there's probably
the South.
a lot of young men in the 1860s who would also agree it was an unpleasant experience.
Yeah, I think that's sort of a phenomenon with reviews of monuments, like places, areas, like the Great Wall of China. Those reviews are all over the place. What people went there expecting and what aspect they're reviewing of this multifaceted cultural wonder of the world.
I just love the idea that somebody went to Gettysburg and their main takeaway was, had a bad time. My fries were cold.
Fries, bro. I didn't hear no address over my soggy fries mushing around in my jaws.
407 years ago, we brought upon this land the first A&W. Fries we had for all.
With that, I think that's the end of Christmas. And by that,
so
I mean this episode. Thank you, Chris, for hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Happy.
Before we shut up or don't shut up about all the awesome things you can know about our podcast, do you have anything to plug? Anything to tell the viewers?
I have nothing to plug for me, but I will, a little heart to heart to listeners. Times are tough economically, but they are also tough for all the independent content creators out there making things happen. So, if you're thinking of buying a gift for somebody, if you're, looking for a gift for yourself, maybe see if you can't support a little guy somewhere. We did our Secret Santa this year was all gifts from Fiverr. We could only buy gifts from Fiverr. And it's been just a wonderful experience in both pure inanity of gifts and feel a lot better throwing my $20 at, some random artist than
That is so cool.
Jeff Bezos. Yeah.
To piggyback on that, we are in an era of a stolen, uncredited art being passed off as AI art. Stolen, uncredited art with a Snapchat filter on it. being sold to people for $8. $8 that could go to an independent artist on Etsy,
right,
on Fiverr, at reviewparty.com/shop.
You can subscribe to a Twitch streamer.
Right, definitely. There's all sorts of ways to support artists. So go out and do it this Christmas.
And keep listening to this podcast and supporting that way.
And tune in every Tuesday Reviews Day. We didn't mention it, but we're getting this episode out Saturday, just in time for Christmas Eve. That's a special exception. Usually, new episodes Tuesday. #Tuesday Reviews Day. If you'd like to send us a funny review to make some ha-has at, go ahead and email us at reviewparty.com@gmail.com and include your name so we can throw you some credit for it.
Hey, if you want to reach out to us in some other way, shape, or form, do it on the social media that all the kids are on right now. At reviewparty.com on Instagram and TikTok, at reviewpartypod on Twitter. Still, we're still there. Reviewparty.com on YouTube, and as you know, as you've been told, reviewparty.com. There's every single episode, every single listening platform, every single blog post, all about reviews and fun and things. The shop and Blue, and what else, Brent?
Nosebleeds. Right after you hear Chris, you hear their song, Bread for Breakfast. Every episode of this podcast. I hope they're having a Merry Christmas. If you want to hear more songs from them, just search Nosebleeds on Spotify. That's one word. If you didn't know that, maybe you should get a dictionary for Christmas. Idiot. I have a review to finish off this lovely holiday episode. It is from Amazon for Emmett Otterd's Jug Band Christmas.
Okay.
It's a little Christmas movie featuring some otter puppets who are in some sort of redneck music ensemble. This review is written by Sean Vandendries. Sean Vandendries. They title it Still the Best. They write, "This has and always will be my favorite Christmas movie, besides Die Hard. 5 stars."